Alright guys, I'm gonna go over the traits I took today and the structure behind them all. So, um, first of all, I want to just thank everybody for all the votes and everything. If you don't know already, I got promoted to Oracle and Skylit. It's been like a dream for like kind of a while. So being able to accomplish one of those major goals I had was pretty nice to see. Um, and yeah, like I look forward to putting more time and effort into these videos, trying to help people out as best as I could, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna be putting more time into Skylit as well, and just helping around, doing like what I can to help and make sure people like achieve their goals and everything. So like this will probably be like the last recap where I'd kind of just like go over like I'm gonna start going more into order flow and going more in depth about everything and all my trades and everything I look at because it's not just like Skylit. I also combine it with order flow, and I'm gonna make a video explaining kind of like my whole strategy and what it's based on and how I use Skylit as my edge to pretty much have like insane risk rewards every day and stuff. So in the morning, this was the first trade I took. So if we come over to Skylit now, and I just look at in the morning, where was it? Over here? No, it's not. It's not that far back. It's like right here, I think. Yeah. So this is the morning. This is the 9:30 candle, and if we look over on QQQ, so on QQQ at the 7:21, we had the king node, and we also had a king node, so double positive here on SPX. Now I was expecting a bounce here just because we had two king node floors, and it was kind of just a area where I was looking to see a bounce off of those floors. So when I took my long, I believe my first long was on this candle. Where was it? It was on like one of these candles at like 9:35 or 9:40. I think it was the 9:35 where this is my first entry. If I point out here on QQQ on this 9:30, I took 9:33. I took my entry here, and I pretty much I went in profit and then I got stopped out. Now I took a re-entry just because the trade reconfirmed itself off of these king nodes as a strong floor, and we pretty much like we swept out this low right here on QQQ at 720.63. And something I did look at too was Nvidia. So on Nvidia, right? I believe in the morning at this time, Nvidia was bouncing this strong floor. So I saw the Nvidia King node here bouncing, and to me it looked pretty good. It looked bullish. Now Nvidia did end up flipping his node as a ceiling and had a nice short down throughout the day with the ceilings rolling down. But like my trade was already in like pretty ready went profit. Like Nvidia had a very strong divergence to the market today in the indices, so that was that. Now on SMH, we did have this previous king node here in the morning, so I kind of saw resistance, and I didn't really see much support over here. So SMH had kind of no detailed reads for me on to the day, other than when this king node popped up at the end of the day. I was kind of convinced that QQQ was going to hit the 720. So that's why I was kind of leaning more bearish for mock when I saw like SMH putting in these ceilings and then the downside pulled throughout the end of the day. So that was also something else I saw, and that like I'll go over later for like the mock. Now, um, where is it? So I took the second long here on QQQ. We had a nice run up, and I was kind of convinced that like the trade, like the trade just looked so good with the two positive king node floors that and the dark pools that I was gonna expect to see a bounce. And then Spy reclaimed the 773, so that was more conviction I had. And then we ended up running up. I'm pretty sure I ended up getting trailed out or got out around VWAP. I can't remember, but I'm like my trade execution is gonna get posted on it and stuff in general. Then we got the run up, and over here, something I want to point out from this short that I took from the high day. So me and John Wicks was talking about a potential short at 1050. Now the reason we were talking about this was because of this London high. So this 1 hour double top, if I come on the 1 hour time frame and just marked out the London high and the London low, you can see in the session of New York, right? Where did we end up bouncing at? So we ended up having to bounce at this Asia session low and then a reversal at the London high on ES. And for NQ as well, like we ended up moving past like the levels and everything, but we did get a nice what was it? It wasn't a it was a short off of this London high over here. But yeah, so that was pretty nice config or confluence to see. And then something I also want to point out on this trade was that if we look at SPX, see how the ceiling rolled down, and when ceilings roll down, that typically means like market's bearish sentiment. Now, also SPY was hitting the 775 positive, and there was no more gamma to the upside. So what does that tell me? There's no more positive gamma to the upside. Where is SPY gonna go? It's kind of running out of fuel. It's exhausting. It's gonna be an exhausted move. QQQ, same thing we see too. 727, King Node rolls down, and then King Node also rolls down to 724. So we had like 3 King Nodes rolling down, basically showing us that there's a lot of that we're looking pretty bearish. So once I saw this, like I took the short off of like my entry was off of my technical analysis with the ES level at the London high, and then correlating this to over to NQ. This is pretty much where my entry is, like over here with my stop at the high. So like when I take this short like around here, like my stops at the high, like you guys know I normally like a 10 20 point stop is typically reasonable. And like I could target now if we come back to Atlas, where can I target? Probably where am I gonna expect the bounce to come from? Probably at the SPX King node here at down here, which also aligns with I believe on QQQ, like around this range over here at 10.03. So this drops down 720. Now that's a pretty nice like 100-point move. And if we look at the RR perspective, like I could have probably targeted this Asia low. And look at that, like you have a nice 1 to 5 risk to reward trade right there, where you're not really risking much to make. And we almost had like no drawdown like around this entry on this trade. So that was that. And I what's it called? Like that was a good setup. I saw it was pretty clean with the ceilings rolling down. So those are kind of like my 2 main trades for today. I took like some scalps here and there where I saw some stuff that confirmed itself on order flow, and here's where I believe we could bounce. We had this wick down here, so there was this news candle in the PM session or lunch session, and I took a long off of the QQQ floor here at 721, I believe, and then SPY 772. So this was like a long I took back up for like a short-lived trade up to the SPX ceiling, and then towards like the end of the day, I took a short on QQQ at the 722 ceiling, aligned with SPX's Pika stack and SPY's dark pool. Now, the only risk factor I had in this trade was that there was this floor on SPY that we could bounce at, and then QQQ had the reverse rug. Now, the benefit that I have is that I have multiple accounts, so I'm able to take more risk. So if this was a trade I was looking at for options, I'd probably de-risk because it wasn't that high of a probability setup. Just because if the reverse on QQQ played out, you would have gotten like instantly like stopped. You would have gotten like stopped out pretty much. But that's like what I like about futures too, because when I have a lot of accounts or stuff to work with, I'm able to take this short without having to worry. So like I'm taking this short, like let's say I took it at 15.13, right? Over here, like if I take this short and I give myself like a 20-point stop, and then this was also at the Asia low, so this is kind of like a nice level that I liked. Like your stop would have never got hit, and then my target was this IB low, which was QQQ 720, and I was basically like I wanted a 720 to get hit, but then like we had to SPY and SPX floors too. We went through MOC, we had a nice dump, and then like even then like this trade ran for like around like a 1 to 3 risk to reward. I didn't have a 20-point stop on this. Like my stop was like at like one of these wicking highs, so like I had such a tight stop on this, looking for a big reward. And so like I just sat through this trade, just letting it run, just because my stop loss was so tight. So like that's kind of like the main convictions I had on most of these trades, and like what I saw as well. And then also like ES ended up double bottoming at the IB low, and then we had this double bottom like over here where that we did bounce from. So this strong level ended up holding. And then like on NQ, we kept just like sweeping out like these lows and sweeping out the lows and like reversing off of it. See like how we did it? We swept out the lows, reverse, swept out the lows, reversed, did it again over here, reversed, and then took out these lows again and it reversed. So like there was so many like major liquidity sweeps on both sides that I was looking at. So like that's kind of the recap for today. Like I said, like starting probably I would say by next week I'm gonna get more detailed into the videos, try to make them look better as possible. on YouTube, I'm probably like I'm gonna start recapping the order flow and everything behind the trades. Like I'll go over my strategy and everything, and like on my other social media platforms, I'm just gonna post like the trade and everything that you saw. So yeah, I mean, pretty nice day to go like 4 out of 5 on. And today wasn't like an ideal day. Like we had like whipsaw as well. Also, I believe if we draw to IB, we had a retest of the 618. Where was it? It was like around here. We had a retest of the golden zone, like twice over here to long it back up too. And then like if you were to draw a bearish fib, like if you're looking for shorts, you had a retest of like the 618 over here, and then you also had like the golden pocket over here if you were just looking for a short area. So like depending on how you draw the fib as well. So yeah, today wasn't bad. Also like some of structural alignment I'm pretty sure was well, off of this. Where is it at? Was the over here when I took the short from the QQQ ceiling, it also happened to be the golden pocket area off of the fib with the Asia low. So that's pretty much like that helped me structure my trades here too. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the recap and everything. Peace.